First of all, we're recording this at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, Australia time. What's the latest in the efforts to get this visa cancellation rescinded? Is it going to happen or is it a bit too late?
Well, first of all, my flight is in a couple hours, so this trip is not happening. But I did get an email this morning from the Australian government asking me about my intention and the reason I'm coming to Australia, as well as proof of citizenship. So something's going on, but I would imagine the media storm probably reached them as soon as they entered their office. So again, as far as this trip, that's not happening, but it is a 3-year ban, so I do hope it's canceled and reversed.
What do you make of the government's ostensible reasons for cancelling your visa?
It's like in school when all the cool kids do something, everyone tries to be cool, right? The Australian government's jumping on the bandwagon. All the countries are anti-Semitic. South Africa, Canada, UK, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the Australian government wanted to be part of the cool kids club.
It's just that, there are no other reasons, just they want to join the trend?
I mean, you'll ask them, they could tell you that my tweets are inflammatory and Islamophobic and incite to violence, which is, of course, absolutely ridiculous. And there's no basis for that whatsoever, including the tweets, by the way, that they sent me in the document. The first tweet that they quoted is that I denied that there was a massacre last week in the humanitarian zone in Gaza, which the entire media reported and then retracted. So I was actually, of course, right, and that's why I reported it, because I never report anything until I can confirm it. That was just one example. Another example is they quoted me saying that 10 to 15% of Muslims worldwide are radicalized, which again is based on data from the Pentagon. All the things that they quoted and they mentioned were anything but Islamophobic or racist or anything like that.
One of the things that was striking about the government document that they produced showing their reasoning was that it seemed to rely almost exclusively on allegations from a pro-Palestinian social media group. Shouldn't they have checked these?
That's right. It's ridiculous. By the way, as of a couple of minutes ago, someone just sent me an article that these pro-Hamas activists who tried to get me banned, not only did they try to get me banned and so far succeeded, but as a result, I'm doing the talk virtually, and they sent a forged letter, a fake letter from the quote-unquote police department telling Magen David Adom, the organization, not to even let me speak virtually. And of course, it was verified that this letter was not real, not from the police department, but they're not stopping at anything. It's totally insane.
Can we track who was responsible for this fake document?
I assume they are. I don't know. I could send you the article, but I assume they're working on it. But it was confirmed to be fake.
So you are going ahead with appearing at these things virtually, at least, in support of Magen David Adom.
That's right.
It's better than nothing, I suppose.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll gain from it. This made so much media noise that maybe the organization will actually gain. I hope.
Some of the things that they've been mentioning is your social media content, which appears to have struck some people outside Israel as somehow problematic. I think you said at one point that fear of militant Islamism is not an irrational thing. It's not Islamophobia if it's rational. That could be seen by some people to be, just smearing the religion of Islam.
That's why I'm very careful to use the word radical Islam. Again, I think what I quoted is available data. It's publicly available data. So nothing that I said was my opinion. I said that when there's a religion with 10 to 15%, dedicated to the destruction of the West, the fear of that religion is anything but irrational. So again, I wrote, I'm not implying that there are no innocent Muslims. The vast majority of them are innocent. But when we're talking about 10 to 15% of billions of Muslims worldwide, that's hundreds of millions of people dedicated to my death and your death. And that's not an irrational fear. That's anything but.
What are the implications of this ban, not just for you, but for those of us in the Australian Jewish community? This is about more than just Hillel Fuld, isn't it?
Of course, of course. In fact, this has nothing to do with me. This is a precedent that is dangerous. It's a slippery slope. And as soon as the government starts getting involved in banning people because of their opinions, where does it end? I mean, does everybody who wants to come into Australia have to declare that they agree with the government and their policies? It's absurd. It's absurd and it's dangerous.
This was not a decision, apparently, that was taken at a political level. It wasn't the minister, Tony Burke, who decided. This came from within the department. And I noticed in the document they produced, the person who wrote all this didn't have the guts to put their name to it. So it's just some faceless, nameless public servant in Canberra who made this decision. It seems absurd.
I don't know how they operate. I would be surprised if that was the case, if no higher up officials gave a green light for this. But again, I have no idea how they operate. Anybody who does, and the thousands of messages that I got, many of them did believe that it was Tony Burke who initiated this. But again, I have no way to know that.
How has the Jewish community responded? Have they tried to help you out and tried to get it cancelled? I know there was a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course. The response has been overwhelming, beautiful, supportive. So that I'm very appreciative of. But as of now, nothing has happened in terms of reversing the decision. And again, I just received this article just a few minutes ago that this letter was sent as a follow-up, meaning they already banned me. Now they're saying we don't even want him to speak virtually, and they sent this letter threatening Magen David Adom. It's absurd. These people they're just consumed with hatred. It's just so sad.
What's the reaction been like outside Australia? I understand there's been some response from Israel and the United States.
That's right. I mean, we have Israel's foreign minister, Israel's former ambassador to the UN, America's ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, and many, many other diplomats at the highest levels who have gotten involved and tried to get this decision reversed. But as I said, as of now, no results to speak for.
Is this going to affect Australia internationally? Are they going to just get away with this, do you think?
I mean, I think in the long term, this is causing the real damage to their reputation. Do I think it will cause direct, consequences on their economy or other things in the short term? Probably not, but in the long term, I think it does.
What's your message to Jews living in Australia as a result of what's happened to you?
I think we see now in many other countries, such as the UK and Canada, that Jews are absolutely not safe. In fact, even in America, last night there was some big anti-Semitic attacks in the Five Towns, which is a huge center for Jews. Australia, generally speaking, was considered pretty safe, but this is a really, really big deal. And again, it's way beyond Hillel Fuld. When the government makes such a decision not to let in an American Jew just because of his pro-Israel opinions, you got to ask yourself, is this home? Is this where I'm safe as a Jew?
In 3 years, when this ban is up, you want to come to Australia again, or have you soured on the place?
I do hope it's reversed. I'm not going to tell you that I feel safe coming to Australia after this. Who knows what will happen to me in the airport? So I'm not sure that I'll feel comfortable and safe coming to Australia, but time will tell.